Good afternoon, and welcome to From Where We Are, stories of news and culture through the lens of USC and Southern California. I'm Claire Fogarty, coming to you live from Studio B in USC's Annenberg Media Center.
And I'm Nicole Bednar. It's Tuesday, April 11th, 2023, and National Pet Day.
Meow.
Make sure to give your furry friend some extra love today. On today's show, a California Senate bill to expand fentanyl overdose prevention, a new study on gun violence from the Kaiser Family Foundation, a look at political polarization on USC's campus, religious solicitation at the USC Village, and a conversation about the Coachella lineup.
All that and more from Where We Are. But first, today's headlines from Sam Bittman.
The mayor of Louisville, Craig Greensburg, held a press conference today following the mass shooting that occurred at a bank yesterday, which resulted in 5 deaths and 9 injuries. In his speech, the mayor said that under Louisville law, the gun used in the shooting will someday be auctioned and back in public use. He also said that, quote, "It's time to change this law and let us destroy illegal guns and destroy guns that have been used to kill our friends and neighbors." Body camera footage from the mass shooting was also released by Louisville police, showing the interaction between the shooter and responding officers like Nicholas Wilt, who remains in critical condition. Carlos Moran was arrested for writing anti-Islamic hate words on multiple pillars at the Islamic Center of Southern California in Koreatown. The 43-year-old man, who was believed to be homeless, was arrested overnight and now faces a felony vandalism charge with a hate crime enhancement. His bail is currently set at $85,000. The Writers Guild of America members will begin casting ballots in the strike authorization vote at 8:30 p.m. local time on both coasts. Their votes will decide whether or not the Guild will be authorized to organize a strike after the current labor contract with the studios expires on May 1st. Voting will end at 12 p.m. local time on April 17th. Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and other major cities in the West could face huge water cuts after the Biden administration released their analysis of the Colorado River crisis earlier today. The Colorado River currently provides water and electricity for more than 40 million people spread across California, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico. In the draft analysis, both of the federal government's solutions could force states to cut nearly 2.1 million acre-feet of their Colorado River usage in 2024. Final decisions on the cuts are expected to be made later this summer. An 11-page ruling issued late yesterday stated U.S. District Judge Edward Davila found that there was not enough evidence to allow Theranos CEO Elizabeth Holmes to stay out of prison on bail. The decision means that Holmes will surrender to authorities on April 27th to begin her more than 11-year prison sentence, which was imposed back in November. For Annenberg Media, I'm Sam Bittman.
And those are some of today's top headlines.
California's State Senate Bill SB 10 has spread further across the state and means a great deal of importance to one specific mother. Maya Gomes has more with the story.
California State Senate Bill SB 10 is making its way to Sacramento. The bill, brought forward by State Senator Dave Cortez, is nicknamed Melanie's Law and aims to expand statewide fentanyl overdose prevention for high school students and children. The law is named after 15-year-old Melanie Ramos, who died of a fentanyl overdose at Bernstein High School in Hollywood last September. In a press conference today outside LA USD headquarters, Melanie's mother, Elena Perez, announced she will testify on the bill's behalf in Sacramento and reflected on the loss of her daughter.
It is a great pain, and each day my pain for Melanie grows. I do not want any family to go through what I am going through. And with this new law, many kids are going to be saved. It is going to be something for the kids.
Part of the changes proposed by SB 10 include providing Narcan to all public schools, as well as providing treatment prevention for opioid overdoses. It will also provide education on the dangers and prevalence of fentanyl to students, their parents, and school faculty. Perez's lawyer, Michael Carrillo, spoke on the importance and impact of SB 10 at the press conference.
But what we haven't seen is any announcements from the LA Unified School District to Elena saying that we will act, we will protect future kids so that families do not have to suffer like Elena is suffering. But now the state senator, through SB 10, will enact those changes which will force the district to take immediate action, will force the district to do something to protect kids.
As for Perez, the loss of her daughter has left an unfillable void in her life. She remembers her daughter as a wonderful person with big dreams for the future.
Ella creció
She had a lot of desire to study. She was always very happy, and she had dreams. She had a dream of going to the army. She was a very, very pretty girl, very beautiful, with a good heart, very noble, and all the people that were in her periphery knew how my girl was.
While her pain will never fade, Perez hopes that Melanie's law will ensure no other families encounter the same.
It's for my girl because no one did anything for her. If she had been here, if she were with me, if they had paid more attention at school, we would not be here. And I hope no other parent has to go through what I am going through. That no parent lives with the pain that I am living with, because it is forever. No one or nothing will bring back my daughter.
For Annenberg Media, I'm Maya Gomes.
Gun violence. It's unfortunately in the news a lot these days. A new study from the Kaiser Family Foundation reveals that experiences with gun-related incidents are increasingly common among U.S. adults. Irene Kim breaks down the key findings.
Yesterday, 5 people were killed in Louisville, Kentucky. 2 weeks ago, 6 were killed in Nashville, Tennessee. The weapon used in both tragedies was a gun. A study published this morning by the Kaiser Family Foundation unveils shocking statistics about Americans' experiences with gun violence. The group of researchers behind the study found that 1 in 5 U.S. adults have been threatened with a gun, and about the same number have actually witnessed someone being shot. 1 in 5 also say a family member was killed by a gun, including instances of suicide. The study also unveils that gun violence doesn't affect all Americans equally. Gun-related injuries and deaths, as well as worries about gun violence, disproportionately affect people of color. For example, 1 in 5 Black and Hispanic adults report feeling like gun-related crimes, deaths, and injuries are a constant threat to their local community. That's more than double the share of white people who feel the same. Black adults are also twice as likely to witness someone being shot and to have a family member killed by a gun. Now that's 3 in 10 Black adults who have witnessed someone being shot. That's over 13 million Americans who have personally witnessed a shooting. Gun violence in the U.S. is a controversial and often partisan issue, but this study found that the prevalence of gun violence is actually causing people to alter their lifestyles. About a third of adults have avoided large crowds to protect themselves or their families. More than 8 in 10 adults have taken at least one precaution to protect themselves from the possibility of gun violence. As a response to the increase of mass shootings, President Biden is calling on Republicans in Congress to enact stricter gun control as he is, quote, powerless to do anything more on his own. Neither members of the Kentucky congressional delegation have made pronouncements on gun reforms. For Annenberg Media, I'm Irene Kim.
Today, USC hosted its first Political Fest at Alumni Park, celebrating political and advocacy organizations on campus. There was a food truck, free merch, and a bustling conversations about the political future of America. Irene Kim talked to students about the state of politics in America and on campus. Irene Kim has more with the story.
With the recent arraignment of former President Donald Trump last week, our political future is changing. As the 2024 presidential election approaches, student organizations gave their insight on the topic at USC's annual Political Fest today in Alumni Park. A member of the USC GOP, David Fuentes, a third-year undergraduate student, believes that the former president's arraignment is being used as a tool more than a fight for justice.
The indictment, the arrest was all very, very politically motivated. It wasn't so much as a sense of promoting justice and equality. It was more of just promoting Democrats to maintain the presidency with Biden, of course. But I think right now, regardless of who's in power, whether it be Republicans, Democrats, it's just a bunch of infighting within Congress, a lot of division between the two sides.
On the other side, James Aragarin, the communication director of the Trojan Democrats, is hesitant to whether or not Trump's arraignment will actually lead to change. The problem is bigger than just one arrest.
We have seen countless times in the past where powerful people get to avoid jail time or avoid consequences for their illegal actions simply because they are powerful. And what is most concerning is how our country treats legal abuses, not with how Donald Trump is or isn't going to be able to succeed in 2024.
Aragorn thinks there's more that needs to be addressed in this country.
Of a lot of problems, but he isn't the problem. If Donald Trump loses in 2024, it doesn't do anything about income inequality. It doesn't automatically do anything about racial justice. It doesn't automatically do anything to protect the LGBT community. It doesn't automatically mean that things are going to get better on any of those fronts if Donald Trump loses. So, honestly, for me, not much has changed.
Clearly, there is heavy discourse on what this arraignment will mean for Trump's 2024 campaign. In fact, graduate student and worker at the Center for the Political Future, Gabriel Romero, predicts that the arraignment reveals more about the importance of abiding the law.
This indictment proves that, truly, in the eyes of our legal system, no one is above the law. No one is higher than, higher in value or importance than anyone else. Everyone is equal under the eyes of the law.
For a deeper dive into this topic and many others, join the Political Student Assembly next Tuesday from 5 to 7 p.m. at Tommy's Place for the 2023 Spring Student Debate. For Annenberg Media, I'm Irene Kim.
I'm Claire Fogarty. We're glad you're with us for From Where We Are.
And I'm Nicole Bednar. It's 12 minutes past the hour. Coming up, religious solicitation at the USC Village, and a conversation with USC FemFest Executive Director Grace Zafara about Coachella. Stay with us.
Have you ever been stopped on campus or in the USC Village to learn about God? Many USC students share the common experience of being approached by followers of the church, as Logan Drone reports.
I was skating in the Village one evening with my noise-canceling headphones on when I saw a hand flash in front of my face. It felt like someone was telling me to talk to the hand. As I abruptly stopped, the person asked, "Are you a follower of Christ?" I'm not the only one who's been asked that. A recent Bible study group has taken campus by storm, approaching people in the Village as they eat, study, or even chat with friends. For context, the group approached me 3 separate times in the past 2 weeks asking if I believe in the Bible. So I decided to look more into this. I had the opportunity to speak with Alan Ramos, a member and promoter of the Bible study group, who spoke about his approach in getting students to join the Bible study.
So I usually tell people, hey, I know this is very random and I know I'm a complete stranger, but a couple years ago, God really did change my life in a very realistic way. So I wanted to see if by any chance you as an individual would ever be interested in something like this. And if they say no, I try to give them maybe 1 to 3 reasons why it's worth their time. And if they still aren't interested, I'll be like, all right, have a good day.
While that may sound innocent, some students have expressed concern when Bible study people approach them, often claiming their privacy was evaded or that they simply did not want to be bothered. In turn, the success rate of students attending Bible study is fairly low, according to Zachariah Simons, another member of the Bible study group.
I've gotten 2 people who said that they want to do Bible studies today. Probably asked 40, 50 people. So whatever that ratio is, probably less than 50%.
For those who agree to the Bible study, buckle up. Prepare for plenty of texts regarding Bible study daily. Just ask me. I received 6 text messages asking to join the Bible study over a 2-week span. Too bad I already read the Bible on a regular basis. The intention behind Bible study is certainly there. Bryce Pavlich spoke on what he tries to convey when approaching students about the Bible.
You ask 10 people, hey, what is God? What do you think God is? They're all going to give you different answers. So we want to say, what does the Bible say about God? And that's what we like to introduce to people.
Bible study is in session regularly in the Village. If you see a group of people talking about the Bible, feel free to approach them and ask them to join, even if they politely decline at first request. For Annenberg Media, I'm Logan Drone.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Ay.
Coachella is less than a week away, and hundreds of thousands of people will be making their way to the Palm Desert for the annual music festival. Some of today's biggest names will take the stage, including Frank Ocean's first live performance since 2019. Executive Director of USC FemFest, Grace Savara, is here to talk to us about her experience at Coachella and how the festival has evolved. Thank you for joining us, Grace.
Yeah, happy to be here.
So I know you worked last year at Coachella. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience both working and attending?
Yeah, it was a wild experience. I worked the first weekend and then attended with my friends the second weekend. And it was really nothing glamorous when I worked. I was scanning tickets, 10-hour shifts every day. I was going until midnight. It was honestly a very hard weekend, but very rewarding. But it was also just very cool. I'm a music industry major, and I've always grown up loving music. So getting to kind of experience the festival for the first time as like a worker and like walking on the grounds before the festival even started the first weekend was like a really cool experience for me as something that I've been like looking up to since I was little.
Cool. So will you be going back to Coachella this year?
I will. I'm going this weekend, just attending this year with graduation coming up. Everything as a senior, it's a little crazy this spring, so I didn't go back to the job, but I'm hoping to work in the future again.
And what are your thoughts on this year's lineup?
I'm excited. I think it's definitely catering to a different music listener than last year, but I still think there's something in there for everyone. Like I think obviously Frank Ocean is going to be a huge highlight as long as he comes, and there's like Dominic Fike, Remy Wolf, for some people I'm really excited about. So it should be a good time.
Yeah, and for this year, Coachella is having a lot more international artists like Bad Bunny and also Blackpink. So what do you think, or what does this say about the direction that the festival is going in?
Yeah, I think that is like ultimately a smart move. I think there's a huge market out there. I think sometimes it's hard to remember that as like a music listener in the US because we tend to pump out a lot of music that is globally listened to. So we forget that worldwide artists are also globally listened to, even though they might not be as popular here. So I'm excited for that. I'm trying to like incorporate a lot more of that into my music taste as well. But like people like Kali Uchis and other artists like that, I'm excited to see.
Mm-hmm. And since you've been interested in the music industry practically your whole life, how has Coachella like changed throughout the years that you've been interested?
So I only started going last year, but I was thinking about this a little earlier because there's a Coachella documentary that I love on YouTube. Highly recommend to everyone. It's called 20 Years in the Desert, I think. And in that documentary, you can hear a lot about how the festival has changed and how it's just added tents, but but all the names of the tents stay the same and the genres that they cater to all stay the same. So I think one of my favorite parts about the festival is that it doesn't change too much over the years. And like, as if you look at the lineup poster, it's also the same over the years. So I think the main changes would just be like getting bigger as an event. But I think its authenticity and staying with the same kind of like central theme that it had from the beginning is what I like about it.
And part of your role for FemFest is determining the lineup. And what factors do you consider when choosing the headliners?
Yeah, for booking for FemFest, it's a little tricky because once you narrow down a date for the show, your budget range for who you want to book for a headliner, and also like the genre or identity of the artist. Like for example, FemFest, we spotlight artists of marginalized identities, so that's usually femme-identifying artists. And once you put those three factors together, it becomes a very small pool of artists that are available for that show. So we go and we reach out to all the major agencies and give them those criteria, and then they give us a list back, and from there we choose. And it's really just whoever we think that is like most current will get the most students excited about the show, and also who aligns with our mission the best.
Mm-hmm. And so Coachella obviously attracts like really big names in the music industry. Is there anyone up and coming, whether they're performing at Coachella or not, that you're like really excited about that you'd want to shout out?
I think last year that was Holly Humberstone. She's one of my favorite artists. And she also Olivia O'Brien, who's like a little bit more popular with like college girls, but she was like 2 p.m. during the day at Coachella last year. So that was really fun, up and comer. This year, I think that Umi is what I'm really excited about. And I would say mostly that. I think the bigger artists are the ones that are attracting my attention more this year because 2021 or 2022 was more like my genre of music, so I went down into like the deep cut artists. But this year it's more like bigger artists that I'm excited about, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very excited for you. Wish I could be attending. But thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful time this weekend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
That's all we have time for on today's From Where We Are. Meredith McCabe produced today's show with Val Diaz and Issa Johnson. We also got help from Mallory Cara. Aaron Lee is our live stream manager, Sam Bittman is our board operator, and Derek Renfro composed our theme music.
We are also streaming live on YouTube at Annenberg Radio News. Subscribe to From Where We Are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Finally, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Annenberg Radio. I'm Nicole Bednar.
And I'm Claire Fogarty. From all of us at Annenberg Radio, wherever you are, we hope you'll join us again for